Alright, fags, it's Waldo Minerals here with our first Showdown Live. Today we're going to be using an interesting team, in my opinion. The whole idea of this team is to get off future sights with Slowking in order to put pressure on the other team, as well as take advantage of the 120 base power psychic attack. The Slowking has Regenerator and an Assault Vest with max special attack and max HP in order to be able to bulk some special hits, as well as fire off strong future sights. Can take any hit from Keldeo and from Heatran, so those are two great switch-ins for it to set up a future sight on the opponent. And then beyond the Slowking, there's every Pokemon except for the Aegislash has reliable recovery. The Cradily has Recover, the Moltres has Roost, so does the Scizor, and then Porygon 2 also has Recover. Porygon 2 is a physically defensive spread in order to be able to take those physical hits that Slowking can't handle, and so is the Scizor with physically defensive spread, so it can take knockoffs because it's got the Mega Stone, which can't be knocked off, so it doesn't do as much damage to Scizor. But knockoff is still a big problem on the team because Scizor is the only one on my team that can handle it, and it can't take a strong boosted knockoff. But then again, a lot of things can't. The Moltres is a physically defensive sub-roost set with Toxic and Flamethrower, which also, again, helps stall out future sight turns. It can come in and take grass-type attacks very nicely for Slowking. And then Cradily is especially defensive. It's a nice special sponge because it can take the electric hits that my team is quite weak to. And then it can also sponge water attacks that Moltres can't handle. It can take a variety of attacks that many Pokemon on my team cannot handle, and then it can also set up Stealth Rocks while the opponent ends up switching around a lot in order to avoid the future sights on certain Pokemon that will not take them very well. And then the Aegislash is pretty standard. It's just got King Shield, Toxic, Shadow Ball, Hidden Power, Fire with max HP, max special attack, and King Shield. Again, that does a lot of damage, and it also can stall out some future sight turns by taking advantage of the King Shield and the Mind Games as well. So let's get into our first battle here, and hopefully we'll get with a team that's matched up well against ours. Alright, so this first battle looks to be a Heatran, or it's going to be a Terrakion lead. That Slowbro is going to cause some problems, seeing as it's a physically defensive Pokemon. The only Pokemon that can handle it on my team is a Cradily. I'm going to lead Slowking here because it can handle a large portion of his team. The only reason that I wouldn't want to lead it is because of the Scizor. So he does end up leading Heatran, which is pretty good for me. He's probably going to set up rocks or switch out, so I'm just going to go straight for the future sight to put pressure on his team. So he does end up going for the Stealth Rock. That's not a huge deal because I can defog them away with my Scizor. The only reason that's a problem is if he somehow roars me out into Moltres. But I'm just going to go ahead and hit him with a Scald, even though that's the most obvious play in the world. But he's probably going to bring in Slowbro or Latios, but I'm just going to play it safe for now. Okay, so he does carry Toxic on his Heatran. I'm not too concerned about that. He's specially defensive, seeing as that did almost no damage. But one more Scald, as well as the future sight damage, will be able to kill Heatran. We'll see if he stays. Okay, so he ends up going for the Protect. He's still going to take the future sight damage. He's going to stall me out a little bit. But I will be able to kill him with one more Scald. And get rid of this douche of a Heatran set. Okay, so he does end up going to Slowbro, but that's alright because I do have Regenerator, which is pretty standard. Slowbro, the only way it could do damage to Cradily is by using... Actually, no, I'm going to go into Aegislash here. Because my Aegislash is a special variant with Shadow Ball, so even if he does get the burn on the Scald, it's only just chip damage that's going to be happening. Not very much on his team is going to want to come in and take a Shadow Ball. The only thing I can see on his team that might be okay with that is the specially defensive Heatran or the Clefable if it's a specially defensive set. So Shadow Ball is clearly the best play here. So he does end up going back into Heatran, which will not take this too horribly great. He's probably going to just go straight for an attack or a roar or something. I have no idea. Maybe he's going to even protect. But Slowking is the universal Heatran counter. so I'm not too worried about that. Lava Plume does 9%. He's going to protect, obviously, so I'm going to go for the Future Sight, which will set up my Future Sight to be able to hit something else on his team. And now he's probably going to switch back out into the Slowbro. So I'm going to predict that and double back into Aegislash. So he does go to the Slowbro, which is nice because I ended up going to the Aegislash. So now I can fire off another strong Shadow Ball, and something on his team is going to die. Alright, so he goes into the Clefable. Not surprised that it's specially defensive, but it does take the Future Sight as well. So I'm just going to go straight for Shadow Ball, hope for either crit or a kill, because I don't carry anything, and he's most likely going to have Magic Guard. So I'm not going to bother with that, with risking that useless Toxic. So I'm just going to go straight for Shadow Ball here. So he sends into Heatran to die. Okay, it's going to take it with 4% left, which his team is severely weakened right now. So I'm thinking he's either going to predict it and predict the Slowking to come in and double back out into Slowbro. Aegislash is great for my team right now because it puts a large amount of pressure onto his team. It can handle the Latios, it can handle the Slowbro. But the problem with that is if he doubles back into Slowbro, like I think he might, then I'm a little screwed. So I'm just going to go straight for the Shadow Ball. Alright, so he does end up going for the Lava Plume. Shouldn't have over-predicted that hard. Right here, the best switch-in is probably the Slowking. Yeah, so I'm just going to go into Slowking and set up another Future Sight here to put the pressure back on. Alright, so he does go straight back into the Slowbro. That's what I was hoping he would do the first time, predicting the Slowking switch-in. But it's not a big deal, seeing as I can switch into Porygon 2 or Cradily here. And now I'm going to go in the Cradily, just set up Stealth Rock so that he has to either go to his Defogger soon, and it also absorbs the Scald freely. So I'm just going to go straight for Stealth Rock, hit and that'll drop down a lot of his Pokemon really low to the point where they can't switch back in. The Clefable comes out. I'm expecting him... Oh, right, Future Sight hits this turn, so that's okay with me. I'm expecting him to now, Scizor, so he's probably going to set up Swords Dance, or he's going to go for Bullet Punches. I think he's probably going to be a Swords Dance Mega variant, so I think Porygon 2 is my best switch in here. Even if he does carry Knockoff, I can probably take one Knockoff and then go for the Foul Play and kill off his Scizor, which would be quite nice. So we're just going to go straight for the Foul Play. Here's probably going to go for the Knockoff. If he does end up killing with Knockoff, I'm probably screwed. I'm probably dead. But I think since I have max physical defense Porygon 2, I can handle one. Okay, so he goes for the Bullet Punch, which does absolutely nothing. And Foul Play does absolutely nothing too, so he's probably the physically defensive Swords Dance set, not just a regular old Swords Dance set. Which kind of puts a lot of pressure on my team. If I can get the Scizor in freely... actually, I think I'm just going to go straight for it right now. If I can get this Scizor into Defog, then I should be in good shape, because then I can send in my Moltres and just go for the Flamethrower. Seeing as that only did like 30%, I'm not too concerned about this Scizor anymore, because I might have to sack something in order to bring in the Moltres, because I can't bring in the Moltres on a knockoff, and that would end my team completely. He can't do any damage to me, so I'm just going to start roosting up. He does go for another Swords Dance. I just need to get Moltres in freely, and then I'll be able to win this battle against this Scizor. I'm going to have to lose something here. I don't know what I want to lose, what I'm willing to lose. The problem with sending in Moltres is he can still easily switch out and go straight into his Heatran. Anyways, I'm just going to go straight for a knockoff, get some damage on him. He still does nothing because I'm physically defensive. I think he's probably going to set up another Swords Dance, seeing as it only did 35% and I can roost. So I'm going to go straight out into Moltres. Hopefully he does what I... Okay, so he went straight for the knockoff, which I was definitely not expecting him to do because he could only do 30%. So now Moltres is going to die, and I'm probably going to lose because Moltres was my chance at winning against this Scizor here. Yeah, I think it's probably over now, seeing as my Scizor is... The only thing I can do to him is stall him out, really. I guess I do have Porygon 2 to hit him with foul plays. I didn't think about that earlier. But, man, that knockoff, him going for that knockoff there, I expect him to Swords Dance. Oh well. I don't think I can take anything from Scizor here. Actually, maybe I can, because his last Bullet Punch did 29.9%. And knockoff is about the same power as Bullet Punch after Technician boosts. So I can live any one hit from him and just keep hitting foul plays off, and he cannot stall my PP of foul play. So I'm just going to keep going for foul plays, which probably isn't going to turn out too well. Unless he's dumb and starts to Swords Dance some more. Alright, so he uses Bullet Punch, which is 44%. Hopefully I can get some min-max here. Nope. Alright, so I'm probably going to lose my Porygon. I'm going to lose my Porygon too, and I'm probably going to lose the battle here at this point. There's not a whole lot I can do anymore after my Moltres died to that knockoff. So we're just going to go out on a limb here, try to survive with Cradily, because he's going to go straight for the Bullet Punch. He's not even going to bother roosting. Alright, I didn't expect to take it. Obviously, I'm not going to take it because I'm specially defensive. Scizor can take the hit, but it's not like I can do anything back, so I'm just going to go for knockoff. Hopefully I can kill... Okay, so he's not going to try and roost stall me. That's cool. So now I'm in a really bad position. He can just bring in Heatran and kill me. So that's GG at that point. I played pretty horribly. Where he won that game was when the knockoff happened on the Moltres. I should have just gone for the safe free switch instead of going for the over prediction with that whole knockoff. So we're just going to get into another battle here, see how it goes. He's got a mono poison team, except he also has a Sylveon. So Slowking is going to be able to put in some major work here with Future Sights. He's probably going to lead Scolipede. Actually, yeah, he's still going to lead Scolipede. Nope, Sylveon. I'm not too concerned about Sylveon. I don't know what he's going to do. He could Toxic Stall. He could just go for Hyper Voice. Yeah, he's going to go straight for Hyper Voice, do literally no damage. So I'm going to fire off a Future Sight and then go straight into my Moltres and start sub-stalling. Alright, so that does 23%. Sub-stalling, I'm not going to do that. I didn't think about how he has Hyper Voice. But he might actually go for a switch out into his Tentacruel, which will completely wall Moltres, but that's not a big... Okay, so he's going to go Protect. It's not a big deal. I can Toxic him now, unless he goes for the switch out, which I don't think he will, seeing as he protected to Scout me. I really don't know what he's going to do here. It's a pretty hard prediction to call. Okay, so he stays in. Not exactly a good play. Goes straight for the Wish. I don't see what he can do with that from there. So I'm just going to roost up. He's probably going to attack. Alright, so he has Heal Bell on his Sylveon. He's probably going to switch into one of his poison types now. So I think a good play here would to be going into Scizor. Alright, so he brings in Tentacruel. It's not exactly a favorable matchup because he can Scald and get the burn off. Slowking can handle Tentacruel in any way, shape, and form. Unless he's a Toxic Stall Tentacruel. See, he goes for the Scald. Literally nothing. I don't care about that. Future Sight is always in this situation. He goes back into Sylveon. Not too unreasonable of a play. I'm going to start Scalding him. Just get some damage off. He Hyper Voices, which is probably the smartest play he can do there. But now at this point, if he's not smart with the way he plays, I can Scald him once, get him down within Future Sight range, and then he's going to Protect. And now he's going to Protect so I can get off another free Future Sight. and then I can start scalding away again. So here he's probably going to wish. I can't remember how the priority bracket works, but I think that Future Sight hits before the wish activates. He's going to protect, which is a shame, but that's not too big of a deal. He's going to drop back down to 9% and then come back up. So here he's probably going to, I don't know. I'm just going to go for another Future Sight. Seems like the easiest play. He's going to go into Venusaur. Even if he has a special variant, I can take it very well. But I don't want to risk staying in on that potential crit or potential power whip. And seeing as I have Future Sight up, that puts pressure on switch back into Sylveon. So I'm going to go up into Cradily to sponge any special hits he can throw at me. Alright, so he ends up being a special variant, which is not too big of a deal. Judging by the damage, he's either a special attacking EV spread, or he's just the straight up bulk spread. He's probably physically defensive, if anything. Future Sight's going to hit here. Drops him down to 16%. I know a Giga Drain can't kill, that's for sure. So I'm just going to go straight back into Slowking and start hitting Future Sights again. He's going to keep trying to wish stall me. Let's see. If he protects, then, well, if he doesn't protect, I have a chance to kill with Scald. But I think he's going to protect because that seems like a common path. Alright, so he went for Hyper Voice. That's not too bad. I can get him back down there again. So I'm just going to keep going for Scalds. Alright, we got a crit. That's really nice. So he's going to protect. I don't care. I'm just going to Scald again. So now we're probably going to drop him down back to a 5% area, and then he's going to, yep, 5%, and then he's going to come back up. So Future Sight is the best play here once again because it puts that pressure on him to keep doing the same as he's been doing. So I'm just going to go straight for a Scald. He wished, obviously. Alright, so now he's going to protect again. Future Sight has a small chance to KO here. I'm going to go straight for the Ice Beam because I don't want to waste any more PP with Scald. Alright, so his Sylveon's going to die now. That's a huge thorn out of my side. Now I can just keep switching Slowking back and forth, getting Future Sights off, and it's pretty much a guaranteed win at that point if I don't play any stupid plays. He's probably going to bring in either Gengar or Venusaur. I'm fine with either of those because I can handle him with Porygon 2, Moltres, Cradily. So I'm just going to get the Regenerator Restore back up. He goes for the sub. So he's probably a sub-disable set, seeing as he has Black Sludge and not Life Orb. So I'm going to go for the Ice Beam. I know he was going to use Focus Blast. That's pretty obvious on a Gengar. I could have gone for Foul Play, but now he's probably going to try and disable me. So I'm just going to go straight for the Recover, which is the safest play. And now I'm going to go for a Foul Play, or I'm going to switch out into Aegislash, predicting the obvious Focus Blast. And then I can take one Shadow Ball easily. Okay, so he goes into Tentacruel. Not too concerned. I can just bring in Slowking, and I'm going to go for a Future Sight. He ends up carrying Knockoff on Tentacruel, which is not a common thing to see. But that's not a big deal, because I can handle one more Knockoff. So I'm just going to get the Future Sight off, and then I'm going to start doing the whole switch shenanigans. I'm going to go straight into my Scizor, hoping that he doesn't Scald me. If he Scalds me, I'm a little upset. If not, I'm okay with that, which turns out he didn't. Now he's probably going to go for a Scald, so I'm just going to play the switch game and go into Cradily, absorb the Scald, and get off the special attack boost. Future Sight hits, doesn't kill. That's okay. I can just start hitting off Ancient Powers, hope for some boost. That'd be pretty cool. So he sends out Scolipede, which is great because I used Ancient Power. So now he's probably going to use Superpower. He might have Superpower. I don't know. I know Scolipedes can learn Superpower, but it's not a common thing to see anymore. So yeah, let's just wait and see. So he goes for the Protect. I'm okay with that. I don't care if he boosts up his speed 1 by 1, because I'm already slower than him anyways. If he Baton Passes, that's completely cool, because he can't come in with anything besides Mega Venusaur, and Mega Venusaur is hard-walled by a lot of my Pokemon. So let's just see where he goes with this. I could have set up Stealth Rock last turn, but it's not a huge deal. He's probably going to baton. Yep, he baton passes. I don't know what he's going to send in. Maybe Gengar. Wheezing. All right, so he's going to send in Wheezing, which I don't know what he's going to do with speed there. So I'm just going to set up Stealth Rock. I have no idea what he's going to go for. Seems like he has a lot more special defense than I would have expected, but that could also just be because my Cradily is uninvested. But now he's forced, before coming into his Scolipede, to send out his Tentacruel at some point. Well, not necessarily forced, but it's probably the best play. So he's not going to be able to do a whole lot to Slowking, so I'm going to go into Slowking. He's probably going to Will-O-Wisp to get off some residual damage. Yep. So I can freely set up a Future Sight again, and yeah, he's going to have a lot of pressure on him to do some work. So even if he brings in his Tentacruel, then I have the Aegislash to switch in on the obvious Rapid Spin, and then I can King Shield the first turn. He's going to go into Scolipede. Scolipede's a little screwed. He has Mega Horn probably. My best switch-in seems to be the Porygon 2 or the Aegislash. I'm just going to go for Aegislash because I don't think he's going to try and predict anything. Yeah, Iron Defense, so I can just slam whatever comes in with a Shadow Ball. He's probably going to Baton Pass, either Baton Pass into Mega Venusaur or just let it die. If he Baton Passes into Mega Venusaur, I will be really happy. Alright, so he sent out Wheezing. Wheezing is going to die to Future Sight and Shadow Ball, no problem. So that's good news for me, seeing as Wheezing is dead. Now my one physical attacker can actually do damage, or he can forfeit. Seeing as the video is over 20 minutes now, I'm going to go ahead and put a stop to this. So, some pretty good battles. The first one, I made a few mistakes, but that happens. So, and then the second one, he didn't exactly have a good team, but I did end up 6-0ing him, if you count that as a 6-0. But Future Sight Slowking put in some work, put pressure on the other team. Something I need to think about is handling Mega Scizor, that is physically defensive. And I also need to think about handling knockoff users as well. So, hope you enjoyed this video. Waldo Minerals, getting out of here.